Hello. Today we're gonna kickstart a new vlog series, and this one I've talked about it before, so it's not really a big secret, but this time I'm gonna covering the TV show The Adventures of Brisco County Jr. I actually watched this, a while ago with my sister. I had the DVD set. I actually have it in my case. I'll probably show that later on in the series, but this is gonna be two a week. It's a 27 episode season so we're gonna have 28 episodes. So it'll be about 14 weeks of this. So I forgot how I covered this in other ways because this is not a anthology show, so the cast is maintained relatively the same. And I covered shows like this before, but I don't quite remember if I talked about guest stars or not. So I think what I'm just going to do is I think I'm not even going to bother with that because the amount of guest stars in this show, it's not really that huge. I think if someone really notable is in it, then I'll mention it, but I don't think I'm going to make it an every episode thing. I will say, though, I will kick things off with saying that the show does star Bruce Campbell. This is a Bruce Campbell show pretty much, but he has a good cast around it, and pretty much this show is and he was in stuff like Evil Dead. It also stars Julius Carey. What else was he in? Let me look. But what the show is kind of, it's a very quirky western. Pretty much the whole show takes place kind of like 1899ish, so like the turn of the century. So the whole show is built around like the idea of things changing, like modern inventions that we know of today are kind of taking shape in this era. We're kind of seeing the bridge between old school and new school. And that's kind of built around the story about this guy's dad who was a big time marshal. He's carrying like a big transporting a large group of criminals on train, and he gets killed in and when they break out. And the whole gang is this kind of all-star group of criminals that is led by the big bad guy. I think John Bly is his name. And the whole show is is Bruce Campbell going after, Bly, and some in an episode has a group of, some of them are part of the gang, some other criminals are just villains of the week. However, what makes this show unique is that it has a sci-fi twist to it, not just in the elements of like invention, like one episode like their criminals are taking this new thing called cycles and stuff like that. But it's also there's also this mysterious orb or orbs or whatever that have things going on with them that are kind of otherworldly, and the show kind of focuses on that. Now I'm going to say this up front: the show doesn't leave any stones unturned. It does all the questions and plot points it raises, it does conclude within this run. So don't worry about anything inconclusive. You'll be able to watch this whole thing and not miss anything. So that's the good part. Julius Carey, that's the other guy I was getting to. He played Lord Bowler, kind of the second guy. He was really good too. He was also known for movie The Last Dragon. However, he passed away in 2008 from, I believe it was I think it was some kind of cancer. I'm not quite sure. And the pilot was directed by Brian Spicer, who he directed the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. He also directed the 24 series, so he's actually a really successful director, actually. But yeah, that's the whole pilot episode, is what I just mentioned. That's a kickstart, and it also starts with him going after a guy, kind of dabbles with the orb a little bit. But yeah, this is the Kickstarter of the show. Now, like all pilots, there are certain elements in the show that they drop after this episode. I won't say what because that could kind of give a little too much into like spoilers into how the show goes. But yeah, I will also say in future in we review episodes going forward that like a lot of shows back then, some shows didn't get treated with a lot of respect. Like they air episodes at random dates, some out of order. So the way I'm reviewing this show, I'm doing this based on air date. Um, However, if it is if I do find information that points out this doesn't air, this like chronologically speaks supposed to go because the Flash show I reviewed kind of had an issue like that too, and this one kind of does too at some point. So I'll be looking to that as well as we get going. But overall, this show does start off really good. Pretty much a good chunk of the characters you see here do come and going forward. There's one or two characters that you think might be big players, but one they kind of don't some they don't bring back as often as you think. Well, there's one or two they don't bring back hardly off if ever. Period. Typical pilot stuff. This is an hour and a half long, so that's something to keep in mind. This also came out August 27th, 1993. Um, let's see what else. But yeah, overall, it's a really solid beginning of the show. This show is it has a lot of charm to it. Um, I think you could have kids watch it and it'll be okay, but this is definitely more for like this is definitely more. I don't want to say it's for older audiences because I don't think it's not like super mature. It's not like over violent, over sexual or anything. There's not even like that much with language, but it's not a show that I feel like it'd be like, ooh, little kids can watch because it's like it's presented in kind of a more mature way. Think of it PG-13 kind of thing, like PG-13, a light PG-13. I think is the best way to look at with this show. Um, but it has a good overarching story, really good overarching story that it goes through. And this first episode really kicks everything off going forward here, for sure. Um, but yeah, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to say about this episode because the whole episode of pilot in itself is it's just kind of the synopsis of the series, just condensed in one episode. So what I'm saying now is kind of the series in a nutshell. Um, and also with some pilot stuff, sometimes there's characters that they tease like cutting off, but they bring back in later episodes. So that kind of happens too. So this kind of goes through the typical pilot isms, but not distractingly, not necessarily distractingly so. At least in hindsight. But yeah. Overall, really solid episode, kicking off the series, and yeah. Um, and yeah, and we're just gonna roll through these as we go through them. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Um, in case you want to chat with anyone at the Campy Company, you don't want to use the YouTube comment section, we do have a couple options. First one, we have a Discord channel. You can find a link to that about page / about section of our channel. We also have a community tab on our channel as well, and you can access that anywhere, anytime. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and like the videos, and have a good day.